the confidence comes from competency. That's the difference between making a product and making a brand. Just get started and start doing something. Just basically do whatever you want and fuck what everyone thinks and just have fun with it. That's the advice.
What's up, everyone? It's Jay Lira with Podcast 23. Today, we got a special episode. We got a creator on with a really dope design perspective. He's a freelance designer and the creator behind Vortex USA. Vortex is an independent design studio pushing small run garments, designed with intention, based out of LA. We got the creator, Boatti. Boatti, thank you so much for making time to join the show, man. I'm really excited to dig deeper on your background and also learn more about Vortex. So thank you for making the time to be on the show, man.
Yeah, of course, Jay. Thanks for having me, man. That was quite the intro. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome, man. And for people meeting you for the first time, how would you describe what you do? Would you say you're like a designer, an artist, or a builder? What's that word that you really, kind of relate to when describing what you do?
Well, professionally, I'm a designer. That's mainly what I do. Conceptually, I come up with concepts for fashion brands, and my own brand. But before that, I worked in interior design, and I also did a lot of furniture and lighting. So, you know, technically I'm a designer, but I also enjoy making things, and I enjoy, the whole spectrum of artistic creation. So I don't like to limit myself too much and just label myself just as a designer, but professionally a designer, yes.
And in your career, what was that moment for you when you realized, hey, I really like fashion and clothes that now I want to take that next step to now design them? What was that, moment for you in your career?
Well, I think I've always been into fashion a little bit just because when you have something that fits really well, it's like a jacket or a pair of pants and it's your favorite pair of pants, it's like, and it's better than all the rest, right? And then you get a pair of pants that doesn't fit so good and it's like, oh, these kind of suck. So I've always known that and I've always known what I liked. But I guess when I started actually making clothes, I went home for Christmas one year and I grew up in Washington State, kind of out in the woods. And so there wasn't a lot to do. So when I went home for Christmas, I uh I was sitting around and I was bored. And so what I did is I took my mom's sewing machine and I took a bunch of old clothes I had and I just started cutting them up and sewing them together and just kind of changing the style of things and changing the fit of things just so they're more comfortable. And then it kind of just developed into what it is now, which is more creating pieces from scratch and really getting into designing as a whole.
What was that first thing that made you that you created and you designed? What was that first thing that you designed that you're like, man, dude, this is really dope, or like, man, this is like really like I have like I'm really skilled in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So I had one pair of jeans in particular that I made that everybody loved, and basically what it was is they were these kind of weird wine color jeans. But then I sewed like a interesting panel, it's called a gusset, into the jeans to make them fit nicer. So they were this wine red and black pair of jeans, and they were a little bit distressed. But what happened was the more I wore them, like I wore them so much for so many years that they just got more and more torn up until they're like basically the homeless people pants now. And I put them on the other day and I was like, I can't wear these. Like they're way too ripped up. Like the back's ripped out, the knees are completely ripped out. But yeah, I think that was the one piece that everybody commented on so much. And I was like, okay, maybe I kind of do have an eye for this.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. And that same specific pants that you create and you design, is that something you plan on bringing into Vortex at some point?
Yeah, I've thought about it. And when it comes to the pieces I choose, there's so many ideas, right? Like there's just so many possibilities for clothes and there's so many concepts. I'm constantly drawing, I'm constantly thinking of, gaining new inspiration. Maybe like I remember I went to the aquarium and I was looking at the fish and I was like, oh yeah, that could be a really dope jacket right there. So once you get that lens, I guess it just kind of transfers over into like how you see everything. But as far as the pants themselves, maybe eventually I'll bring them back, but I try to focus on designs that I think are like really have that wow factor that I look at them and I'm just like, yeah, people are really gonna love this. Like this is really different. It's not just like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but something that's really has that bang and that pop that I'm like, oh wow, like I have to have that. Like that's different.
If you look at Vortex USA, a lot of that stuff is wow factor, and everything that you talk about. So when you come up drafting that initial design, how do you get it to that wow factor that's like, hey, this is what's going to make the cut on the website?
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky and you just get an idea and it's just like that simple, you know? Like
Yeah.
like you're walking down the street, you're driving in your car, boom, there's an idea and you just draw it down right there and it's ready to go. And other times I'll come up with something and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but it's not quite there. And so you'll just, put it to the side and go about designing other things or doing whatever you're doing. And then later you can come back to it and you'll see it in a new light and you can be like, "Oh, okay, this is what I need to do here to really bring this to the next level." But it's like a confidence in yourself and a confidence in just like your own taste, right? Because if I see something and I really like it, I trust myself enough to know like, yeah, this is gonna work. I don't need to, because it's art, it's subjective to a point, right? So it's like there's also that confidence part where it's like knowing if an idea or if a concept has been taken far enough or if it's been taken too far and it's like too crazy, right? So it's kind of that sweet spot and you gotta figure that out for yourself, I guess, where that is for you and your own taste.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And even going back early in your creative career, I know you mentioned that you grew up in Washington State, out in the wilderness. What was that first taste of creativity for you? What was that first step for you to start initiating or integrating that creative process? What was that first step look like for you?
Yeah, for me, it was definitely entertainment. I didn't have a lot of entertainment really going on in the household. It was like we didn't watch TV or there was no video games. So it was basically just me and my brother fighting all the time. And then my mom would basically lock us outside because we were going so crazy. So we would be in the woods and we would be building forts and just hanging out and climbing trees and doing kid shit, but also drawing and making things was just another form of entertainment. So it was definitely a something that became like a habit of mine from a very young age. Like you get bored and you start drawing, and I would be in class in school and I would be doing my homework or whatever, and the pages would just start turning into drawings. That's just kind of the way it goes.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I used to get really into drawing too. The way I used to draw as a kid, I don't know if you ever did this, but like I would look at an image or a picture that I really liked and I would copy it, like try to freehand draw it, whatever I was looking at. I don't know what that's called, but have you ever tried doing that at all? Or
Yeah, yeah. There's also something you can do where you draw like form drawing, which is where you draw like real pieces, like you put an apple on the table and you try and draw that. And that's like a good exercise to kind of help with drawing. But for me drawing, that was always super frustrating to me. Drawing for me was just like almost like an ADHD thing where you just need to do something. So you start like scribbling lines and then you don't even know what it is that you're drawing, and then eventually that drawing becomes something just like based on what you already have like down on the paper. And that's sort of been my approach to design as a whole, is just get started and start doing something. Don't think too much about what the final product is going to be. Just like start something and it'll work out along the way.
yeah, I think that's so beautifully said, man, because I think even in today's world, like I catch myself doing this. I don't start something because it's almost like I overthink and I get fearful and there's anxiety. So it's like sometimes I don't even start stuff because I'm so anxious about it. But I think that's so cool that you bring that into your design, you bring that into Vortex USA, which is like, dude, we make it happen. We just go with the flow. Does that kind of relate to what you're creating over there at Vortex?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a high contrast, pretty maxed out brand. I like the strong visual impact, and I think that for me, clothes, if you're gonna do something, I guess just go all the way and see how crazy you can go and see like how extreme of whatever it is, whatever you're pursuing, like what is the final form of that, like how far can you take it? And I guess that's definitely been a big part of my style in fashion for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And just how I perceive Vortex USA it's personal. It's not just a brand, you know. And when building the brand and making it more on the personal side, it's more than just a brand. What would you say, like when creating it, what did you say to yourself, like, this is missing in the world, so I'm gonna, you know, fill that void with Vortex USA? What do you think was is kind of missing in the fashion industry and maybe fashion designing as a whole, that, you know, Vortex kind of comes in and fills that void?
Yeah, yeah. Fashion is a crazy industry, and there's so much going on in it all the time that I don't even pretend to know what's going on in it. I just know what I like, and I make what I like. And I kind of have the ideology, and we had this ideology, me and my friend and business partner back in the day when we were designing furniture and interior design. We had the ideology of like, we're going to make what we want, and people, you know, build it and they will come. And I think that's the right mentality when it comes to creative endeavors, because the last thing you want to do is spend all your time making something and you think people are going to like it and then they just don't even like it and you don't like it and you just wasted your time. So it's better to just do what you want and sort of fulfill your own vision. And as far as what was missing from fashion was, I just saw, like, from what I did see in fashion, I wasn't super impressed and I was kind of bored. And just like by looking at the forms and the shapes and the overall, there's a few brands I like, but mainly I was just kind of bored and unimpressed and underwhelmed. And I wanted to really bring in my design philosophy of really, really making something that has that impact, that has that visual impact and that strong presence. That's what I like.
Yeah, yeah, but man, that's awesomely said. And like, even when I started doing research on you and checking out Vortex for myself, like, dude, Boatti is the best fashion designer in LA. Like, he is the best. And like, I showed everyone your website, and like a lot of your stuff is sold out. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to do the podcast with Boatti. And just like a very unbiased opinion, they were like, dude, his clothes are awesome. Like, these are super cool. Like, I agree with you. Like, I really resonate with, like, it's really making a statement, and it's like, it brings a lot of energy. And it's like, dude, this is like, you know, for me personally, it's like looking at your designs, it's like I'm able to get the sense of energy, but like, not, it's not over the top. Like you said, it's like, whoa, this is a really cool statement piece, but like, dude, I could see myself wearing it. So I think that's really cool that even for me, I was able to resonate with. So I'm not sure if that was the goal or not, but just wanted to share my own opinions on that.
Thank you,
When
man.
you
It's
look
really
at, yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. And for, you know, to kind of give your fans, you know, a behind the scenes look, kind of walk us through, what does that, you know, process look like when it comes to an idea all the way to that like final piece?
Yeah, so a lot of times these are my favorite designs because these ones are the like easiest, right? And I like to do things quick if I can, because from what I've found in design, and I guess this kind of goes for everything in life, but if you're gonna make something and you spend a lot of time making it and trying to plan out how to make it and figure out how to make it, and you're gonna find the perfect material, and then in the end it's like just okay, like you just spent a lot of time on a concept that wasn't even anything special, you know? So like, I like it when I just get an idea in my head and then I try to make it as quick as possible. Usually I'll just do a quick drawing and then I'll go straight into figuring out what the material is. Like, usually I know everything just from like the image in my head of what it's going to be. So it's not really like, I really do a lot of iteration sketches. The sketching is mainly just to communicate my idea to other people and manufacturers and really get things dialed in. So I like that kind of approach to design where you just try to do it as quickly as possible. And if it doesn't work, then you didn't waste that much time and you can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And as long as you got through the process, right, to see, hey, is this going to flourish or not? That's awesome, dude. And what's a material recently that you fell in love with? Is there any materials right now that you're really into?
Yeah, I would say it's probably been recently denim. I like denim a lot. This is actually one of the denim jackets I made that I'm wearing right now. But it's kind of interesting. But what I like about denim is the feel of it, and I like how you can, like, this is bleached, but I like how you can bleach it a lot. You can re-dye it. It's just very durable and it has a really nice feel to it. I like things that feel tough and they feel like they're gonna last a long time, and they have that kind of like built to last feel. and it's not something that's cheap or flimsy, you know. Like that's what I like about clothes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was gonna mention that too. I'm glad you came on camera because that was like one of the things that caught my eye was that denim jacket. Like I showed a lot of people, your website. I was like, yeah, I'm about to do a show with Boatti. Like oddly enough, that jacket that you're wearing, like a lot of people, picked that out of all the clothing. Man, that denim jacket just really caught people's eye. So I think that's awesome that you're able to bring that out. And talking about the design process, right? What's a mistake you made early that helped level you up to, as successful as you are today?
Yeah, I think just trying to make other people happy and trying to do what I think other people will like, getting it too far into getting like just caring about what people think about stuff and listening to other people's opinions. Like I'm kind of the belief that other people's opinions, unless I'm trying to think of a way to not sound like a dick, but like no, honestly, there's no way to say it. Like most people, they're only speaking from what they like, and it's not really important what they like. It's unless that's who you're trying to sell the piece to, right? And it's you want to have a strong piece that you feel strongly about, and you're not just making things that are gonna sell short term. I feel like if you follow your vision and you follow what you think is cool and what you think you like, and you kind of explore that, and not just saying like, okay, I like this jacket because it looks good, but exploring like what you like about it, and then applying that to new designs and really getting into like going kind of within and finding that style. That's going to take you way farther than if you're just making products that will sell short term, right? Because that's the difference between making a product and making a brand.
No, no, totally, man. And someone as successful as you are, I just feel like there has to be a high level of confidence that you have. And I mean, it definitely shows within your work. It shows we even the times that we've conversated. How did you learn to do that, right? Because like was there like a moment that really like, hey, this is where I'm going to start changing my mindset to where like, yeah, let's forget everyone else's opinion. I am the best, like, and what I create is the best. Like, where did you get that? Like, what was that turning point for you to where it really helped kind of focus in onto bringing that into your work? Because yeah, I'll say that lastly is like, when you look at Vortex USA, a lot of your designs are screaming confidence. It's screaming boldness and like, dude, it's a statement piece. It's really, really strong, bold pieces that I really resonate with. So like what was that moment for you that you made that change in your life?
Well, it's always been, I guess, kind of a part of my approach to life, and I'm still working on it for sure, you know, and it's something that I have to reinforce in my work and in my design. Sometimes I'll make something and maybe people I'm around, they don't like it, and I have to, or they don't think it's the best, or, you just start listening to people, and then before you know it, you're making something that you don't even like anymore. So I just realized that, like, no, although I like these people, like, I want to do what I want to do. And, um, I think that confidence comes from, I think confidence comes from competency in whatever you're doing, right? So if you've made like I've made quite a few denim jackets, and once you've made quite a few jackets, you kind of are confident that the next one's going to be good too, right? So it's like your track record helps build that confidence, and and then yeah, it just snowballs. It's like a snowball effect, and that's a big thing with art and creation is one creation leads to another. So you just got to get those first few designs out of the way, or maybe it's even 10, 20, 50, 100 that are going to suck, but the faster you can get through those early stages of whatever you're doing, the faster you're going to get good.
Most people in fashion are chasing attention. The smart ones are building authority. If you're a brand, model, or creative between 21 and 35, you're standing at the moment where visibility becomes power. The F State exists for that moment. We connect talent development, fashion PR, and cultural storytelling into one system, designed to move careers forward. Not hype, not guesswork, structure, strategy, culture. Follow at the F State on Instagram, THEFSTATE. and step into the future of fashion.
That's beautifully said, and I'm implementing that in my life right now. Like even with my podcast and other aspects of my life, it's like that consistent work is going to build that confidence. And I'm reading this awesome book that that's what it all it talks about is like these small consistent changes create an amazing outcome, and I think that kind of relates really what you're talking about is just consistencies and to build that confidence over time. In turn, you're just constantly flowing out just awesome designs.
Yeah, and there's lots that aren't that awesome and are too crazy and are too weird, and that's just all part of it too. And that's part of the confidence is knowing like what is good to you, and it's everything is difficult in life. That's I always remind myself of this. Like everything in life is kind of the same. Like the first thing I was really into when I was younger was skateboarding, and I spent 2 years in my garage in Washington because it rained all the time. I spent 2 years in my garage trying to do a kickflip. 2 years of not being able to do a kickflip. And then I finally landed a kickflip. So I go back to that a lot in life and think about that, how when things aren't working out, that's just part of life and you just got to keep going and get through those early stages.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. Because yeah, I think so many people that are trying to get to this point in their life, try to be successful. It's like the outside looking in. It's almost like hey, they make no mistakes. Like there is no struggles or anything like that. So it's really cool to see that. Yeah, even in your own personal life, there was some challenges that you overcame with like consistent. Always being consistent. Um, One of the pieces I just kind of wanted to highlight, or there's a couple pieces from your collection that I kind of wanted to highlight just for your fans out there to kind of get a backstory on it. Because I think that was one of the things I was really excited to bring you on is, getting the designer's perspective on why they created a certain piece and how, they made it look. But one of the first pieces that really stood out to me as well was the electric snake print hoodie where it has the snake print all over the hoodie. It's oversized, it's heavyweight. What was the story behind that? Like, what was the mood when creating the electric snake print hoodie?
Yeah, yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure. And what inspired that was just sort of the whole design philosophy of having something that really has that visual impact, and I guess going against minimalism and just everything being boring and like the conservative approach to fashion and just wanting something that's like bright and impactful and powerful and fun, right? It's like fun to wear. And then just kind of embodying that like confident, vibrant mindset and mentality and just like the feeling of it is fun, and I like that a lot. I don't like things to be too serious or too robotic or like you know boring really.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome, man. And so that kind of inspired you was like, hey, let me just try to put a really like, let me try to put something a little bit more exciting out there on in the world.
Yeah, so basically it was just one of those ideas that just popped in my head, and you know when like you were a little kid and you would see something like a bright car or something, like my car's like a yellow car, and little kids always like stare at it and I see their eyes light up because it's just cool looking, you know what I mean? It's just like a fun, cool looking object. And I think a lot of my clothes have that same kind of thing, that they have that like childlike playfulness of just something that's like fun and something that you want to wear. Like you see it and you just want to put it on. Like I like that. Like that's what I aspire to make when I make clothes for sure.
Yeah, and that's awesome, man. And then the other piece I really wanted to talk to you about is the tracker pants, right? I saw that you even listed out the exact measurements of the tracker pants, which I think is really awesome. Kind of give the fans a little bit of a backstory on the tracker pants, on that design process, and then also listing out the exact measurements too.
Yeah, yeah. So those are super cool. Those were actually made, and it's funny, I kind of forgot about this until just now. Those were actually made when I made the original pair of pants that I talked about earlier, the black and wine colored ones. Those were made on
Yeah,
that same trip. And I thought they were super cool, kind of like a, Western native kind of concept, and with almost like a beach vibe to them. And those are another pair that just they developed over time, and now they have like seashells and braids hanging off them. And I like to have fun with it, man. That's the main thing. Like, if there's an idea that seems cool to me, like I just want to explore that idea, and then if it turns out to not be cool in the end, like that's okay, but I just want to like see what happens with that idea. It's like very experimental approach to design and art, and I think that's a good way to really explore creativity and not get stuck.
No, that's awesome, man. And even on the Vortex side, I noticed it's really positioned as a, small runs made to last. That's kind of like how I perceived it. And you're not trying to be fast fashion at all. You really want small runs that are made to last for a long time. What's the hardest part about doing that? Someone that kind of looks up to you, and maybe there's a listener out there right now that really wants to do what you do, have something as successful as Vortex USA. What's kind of the challenges when you have that approach that's different than the norm?
Yeah, I think the main challenge is always going to be quality, and can you afford to make the stuff that you want to make? Can someone actually make the things that you want to make? Are you the person that has to make everything, like, and it just depends, like whatever you're going for specifically for your business. Like a lot of the one of ones I made myself, and I have like ultimate creative freedom over that, which I enjoy because I can change it if I want to, I can cut something in half, I can dye it again, I can bleach it, I can completely change the pattern. But then at the same time, so that's like my the max creativity sauce, right? And then on the other side of that, I have products that are produced that I made specifically for production. And those products, they're still crazy, they're still cool, but a manufacturer can make them, and I can get enough income from that I can have freedom to make the crazy stuff that I want and not put a lot of pressure on the crazier items that, you know, people might buy them, people might not buy them, but you don't even want to be thinking about that. You just want to be thinking about what do I want to make, but then at the same time make pieces that you like that will sell. So that's going to be like your bread and butter and you're going to make money off that. But then don't lose the like playful experimental aspect of whatever you're doing, so that way you can still, build something that's interesting to you. It's definitely something that you don't want to think about too much, you just want to make sure that money's coming in and you're making cool shit, like make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Just kind of acknowledge if, hey, I haven't created more of these manufacturing pieces, or I haven't created more fun pieces. Just kind of acknowledging it and just kind of noticing those little things and just kind of seeing where best fits. Is that kind of, am I kind of, understanding a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that having a full catalog, like I like to look at things as like everything on the website, that's one whole design in itself, right? And then each piece of clothing is like an aspect of the overall brand, and within that there's room for crazier designs and, more easily wearable designs, and just kind of giving people some choices, and also making it fun, making it wearable, not making it too boring or too extreme, right? You can have those extreme pieces, but then also having those just like staples.
Fashion doesn't belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the ones building something real. If you're a brand, model, or creative between 21 and 35, you already know the truth. Talent isn't enough, direction is everything. And that's where the F State comes in. A fashion PR and talent development platform built to turn raw presence into cultural impact. Follow at the F State on Instagram, because in this industry, rebels rise, creators disrupt, and citizens are made.
Bodie, before we close out here, I want to do a quick lightning round with you. Just the first, answer that comes to your head. If you do want to explain, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I just have a few questions, just quick lightning round. So the first one, do you prefer an oversized fit or true to body fit?
I would say true to body fit, just because I like clothes that fit nice. I guess it depends. Like if you have a pair of pants and they fit perfect, that is a way better feeling to me than a pair of pants that's like super baggy. Or like if I have a t-shirt that's like the perfect size, maybe it was a little bit large, then I washed it and now it fits perfect. Like I like that way more than a t-shirt that's like a little bit more of like a baggy oversized feel. So I would say definitely true to size.
Black, white, or one loud color?
It's funny. I guess you have to go black because you can wear black under all circumstances. But what I like to do is I like to have like a normal pair of shoes, normal pair of pants, and then maybe like a really crazy jacket. So that's kind of like, I guess, the silver bullet formula that I think about in fashion a lot, where instead of having one outfit that's just completely ridiculous, having like a nice outfit and then just throwing on like a really sick jacket. So like black ripped jeans, maybe some just black shoes, whatever, and then you got that electric snake print hoodie on top with some shades. It's always gonna be sick.
Yeah, just you describing it, man. I was like, man, that sounds dope. Zippers or no zippers?
I like zippers. I don't know. I like throwing zippers on stuff. Yeah, especially for sewing. So, but it just depends on the material. Like if your material is thin and it's very like it stretches a lot, you don't need zippers, right? But if you're making something that is going to be thick like denim or something that you can't throw on easily and you want to make it easier to put on and more functional, like definitely zippers. So I think zippers when it's functional, but if it's not functional and you're just throwing zippers on stuff, then I would probably try to avoid that.
Clean, minimal graphics or chaotic statement pieces?
Yeah, I prefer more chaos in my life, as much chaos as possible. No, but
Yeah.
yeah, honestly though, in fashion, I think that what's the point of making something that's boring? That just doesn't do it for me, Like I need to make something that I think has that impact. So I definitely like something loud and bright and something fun.
One of one pieces or limited drops?
Well, I think one-on-one is always going to be the coolest, right? Because if you have something that nobody else has, there's just something cool about that. And also, if you have something, because the more rare something is, the more valuable it is, that's just how it goes, right? And also, if you have something that just fits really well and it's like a one-on-one piece, and if you make something for yourself or you buy something from, like if you buy a jacket from somebody and it's tailored just for you, like there's something really cool about that and something special about it. But you gotta get paid, and it's good to have those limited drops. That's the bread and butter right there.
Most underrated part of a garment that people ignore?
Hmm. Probably, man, it's gotta be like a hood lining on a hoodie, a nice hood lining on a
Oh,
hoodie,
wow.
or the lining on a pocket, something like that, like something that you don't notice until you wear it. And then you're like, oh yeah, okay. I can see where they went the extra mile and like really developed this. I think that those little details are what set apart just decent brands from like really good brands that really develop their concepts and think about the person that's going to be wearing it.
Yeah, dude, I wasn't even thinking about that, but once you brought it to light, I was like, man, dude, that is really cool. Like the lining of the hoodie lining is like, dude, that's really um like that does get ignored, but it also is a big part of the design of the garment. So yeah, I agree with you, man. My last question for you, Brody, is just one brand you respect, even if it's not your lane.
Yeah, I liked man, there's a lot of brands. I think the one because I started researching fashion for a bit, and I went back in time a little bit, and I went back to Alexander McQueen runway shows where he was doing some really interesting stuff, and it had kind of like a dark horror movie kind of a vibe, and the garments were just super raw and torn up. And I was like, this is cool, like this is different, and this is definitely like has that visual impact, and it has that element of something new, something exciting, and I thought that was really cool. And he has a lot of cool runway shows. And if you go look back at the old ones, he was doing some really interesting stuff with not only the clothes, but having like a set designed for the runway show that the clothes existed in. And I thought that was really cool and a really good way to bring people into the world of fashion and not just here's some clothes, right, on some people. It's like, no, this is like a full on visual experience that you're being brought into. And I thought that was really cool. And I was definitely like, yeah, I'm going to do something like that eventually for sure.
Yeah, that sounds really. I haven't seen it personally, but that sounds super interesting. Like the way you're describing it, like I'm really excited to take a look at that and excited to see it in your work too. I know you said that's something you eventually want to kind of, experiment with. So I think that would be awesome. But yeah, when we were talking, Bodhi, I did have one last question. Me, not so into fashion, but just kind of what I see in the media and stuff. I really want to get your opinion on a few brands that I just come across of as like an average, I guess, viewer of fashion, right? One of them is Chrome Hearts. What are your thoughts on Chrome Hearts?
Yeah, yeah. Chrome Hearts is cool, man. I like some of their stuff a lot for sure. And they're a good example of a brand that really found an aesthetic that works and just drove it home. And I like that, and they stick to what works and they've become extremely successful because of that. So they're actually a great example of what you want to do if you want to start a brand. But they're pretty cool because they started out making leather jackets and they were doing kind of like limited runs, or I think they were doing custom one of one leather jackets just in the very beginning. And now I think they just bought the Malibu Surf Rider Hotel and now they're going to make a whole Chrome Hearts hotel in Malibu. So it just shows you, even if you're starting small, if you're doing something small, it can go crazy. So yeah, that's a great brand.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then the other brand I want to get your opinion on, I guess it's kind of a mix because it's kind of similar. What are your thoughts on like Fear of God and I guess Fear of God, and then also like maybe some of Kanye's designs too? I'm interested to get your opinion on both of those.
Yeah, Fear of God. I don't really have any opinions on that. I like the name, and I remember seeing it a few years ago and thinking like that's a cool name, but I was never their pieces never really like evoked any emotion from me, I guess. Some of the stuff Kanye has done over the years is really cool. I think some of his old shoe designs were nice. I remember, I don't really pay attention to fashion that much, man. It's kind of funny, but one of my friends, when I was in school, had a pair of Yeezys, and they were kind of like these like tan boot colored Yeezys, and I was like, oh, those are actually pretty sick. But I know he's doing his thing, and I know he's done a lot over the years, but honestly, I'm not too sure what he's been up to recently.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of, I think that's a big thing in California is like the essential hoodies.
Yeah,
Always seeing
yeah.
those essential hoodies. That's part of Fear of God, and I'm like, it's cool. It's a very simplistic design, but I was interested to get your opinion. Someone who's looking for a little bit more excitement, more
Boring,
energy.
lame, throw it out.
Yeah.
To me, that's just like not something I would ever buy. Like it's cool, but that's a good example of not what to do if you want to start a company, because the amount of marketing that you're going to have to do to sell a product that says one word across the front in a boring font is insane. So if you're going to start a
Yeah.
company, start with making a cool product that people are going to like. And then, once you've made millions of dollars and celebrities are wearing it, then you can start dropping hoodies that just say one word on them.
Before we close out, I want to see if there's any advice that you would send to those creatives out there that are listening, fans of your work. If there's anybody listening right now who wants to create, whether it's clothing, art, anything, but they're doubting themselves, what would you tell them if they're stuck at the beginning?
Yeah, just do what you want. And if you have an idea, I wouldn't even tell people about it or ask people's opinions about it. Just go ahead and do it. Because if you tell people your ideas, they're going to tell you why it won't work. It's just something that people do. Like naturally, that's like what people do. So don't even tell people your ideas. Just go and do it, and do it for you. Don't do it to try to impress anybody or because you think that you're going to build a company that's going to make a bunch of money, right? Like just do it for the love of the craft and whatever you're doing. If you're painting, if you're sculpting, or if you're making clothes or making videos, whatever, I think that if you enjoy the craft of it, or if you find if you find a way to get interested in the actual craft of it and really get interested in like perfecting your craft, that's going to take you way farther than trying to be like a product developer, right? That would be my only advice, I guess. Just basically do whatever you want and fuck what everyone thinks and just have fun with it. That's the advice.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. I hear that so many, even on social media, man. I hear that from like really big time celebrities. Like, don't tell anybody your plans. Like, whatever you do not tell them, because even like hearing you speak about it, the way it resonates with me is like that idea was created for me. It wasn't created, that vision wasn't a part of all these other people that I'm telling, so they're not going to understand it because it was made specifically for you. I don't know. I didn't mean to get deep on here, but like,
No, no, for
that's kind of
sure.
how I view it. Yeah.
For sure. And I think that even that part of it, like, where does that vision come from, right? And that vision comes from within. And in order to really get a clear vision or to get good ideas, you have to have a certain separation from other people and also society, even. And like, because if you're just constantly, you have a TV on, and then after that, you have music on, and then after that, you're hanging out with your friends, and it's just constant noise, ideas can't really come in and you're not going to find that vision. So it's really important to, as a creative person, to be able to create that space from, I guess, everyone in the normal world and really let that vision develop. Because everybody has great ideas, or not, maybe not great ideas, but everybody has ideas, and some people just come up with more ideas, you know? And it's like
Yeah.
you gotta find a way, like a system that can produce those ideas.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. 100%. But Boatti, man, thank you so much for your time, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, giving not only me but your fans a better insight of your brand, your background, your story. There's a lot of things that I even relate to, so I'm really excited just to kind of see you continue to progress. I mean, you are the best designer in LA, so I can't thank you enough for being on the show and making time to be here. So thank you, man.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years, man. I'm glad you realize it too.
Yeah.
No,
it's
I'm
not it's
just
not
kidding,
even a
man.
question,
I'm just kidding, man. I
man.
appreciate you, and I appreciate you having me on. It's been great talking with you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Boatti. And for the listeners out there that want to maybe take a look at Vortex or reach out to you personally, what's the best way to get in contact with you, and also for fans to view your products?
Yeah, so you can go to on Instagram Vortex USA and vortexusa.store, the website. And we're always putting new stuff on there, and we got a lot of new stuff coming. So yeah, keep an eye out.
Well, thank you again, Boatti. And again, all the listeners out there, thank you so much. This has been Jay Lira with Podcast 23. If you have a friend out there that's thinking about designing streetwear or just building something real, be sure to share this episode with them. Really excited to catch you guys in the next episode. So peace out, everybody. Thanks.